Disneyland in Shanghai is reopening after more than 3 months. NBC News correspondent Janis Mackey Frayer reports on the new rules at the park to keep both visitors and employees safe.
Allison, theme parks are always popular, but Shanghai Disney is getting a lot of attention because it's the first in the world to reopen after closing down at the height of the virus outbreak here in China.
It's time for magic.
But it's not a free-for-all. Tickets are advance booking only. They're very limited. The government has restricted capacity to 30%, so that's roughly 24,000 visitors per day. And Disney says that for now, they're allowing even fewer. There are also new social distancing rules, like signs telling people where to stand, masks are mandatory, no selfies with characters or hugging them, and anyone going through the gates needs a temperature check and to show a green health code on their phones, proving that they're virus-free.
In addition, we've added over 300 hand sanitizers throughout the park, at the exits of attractions, inside shops and restaurants, to make sure that our guests have that ability to continue to keep their hands clean, which is one of the major means of preventing transmission.
Like every country, China has taken a huge financial hit. The borders are still closed to tourists. So a phased reopening of a park that's a known brand is a sign that maybe economies everywhere can look at getting back on track. And for kids, it's finally about getting to have some fun. I really like Captain Jack Sparrow, he says. I want to come here so much. Disney says publicly that it's lost over $1 billion on its parks during the shutdown. Shanghai Disney was closed for 3 months. The key, they say now, is crowd control. They've canceled the fireworks. There are still many shows that are still shut down, but there are lots of lights and lots of attractions and very high expectations that this could be a sign of better days ahead for parks in the U.S., too. Allison?
Starting today, restaurants in Arizona can reopen their dining rooms. This statewide stay-at-home order in Arizona is still in place, though, and the number of coronavirus cases and deaths have been climbing, especially in the Phoenix area. NBC News reporter Vaughn Hilliard joins us now from Phoenix. And Vaughn, how are restaurants there trying their best to stay safe while still reopening?
Yeah, there was the executive order that went into effect here today, signed by the Arizona Republican Governor Doug Ducey, Allison, that allows restaurant establishments and eateries to begin dine-in services again if they so choose. Here in Phoenix, the last time they were able to do that was March 17th, meaning it's been nearly 2 months. The governor's executive order didn't have a certain capacity in which you could have people inside like other states, but the guidelines in which he put forward essentially outlined sanitation efforts that have to be undertaken by these restaurants, requirements for masks, requirements that there are not groups of more than 10 individuals congregated together, that there's also plenty of social distancing between folks in these establishments. You know, for the governor, this was a decision that came just a day before President Trump came to town last week, Allison, and it was one that was met with some question marks. Namely, because last week was the single greatest number of deaths in a week, just last week, Allison. And so while there is more testing taking place, there's also been an increase in the number of tests. And again, the single highest week of deaths just last week, meaning there's still a lot of question marks with the COVID-19 spread through the state, Allison.
Vaughn, I know these are tough decisions to make for restaurants, and it almost seems like a tale of two, with some reopening, others choosing to stay closed. You were at a restaurant that chose to stay closed today. How did they make that tough call?
Yeah, you know, that's where the social responsibility question comes in. Not only the governors and the state governments are quarreling with, but also these restaurants themselves. In fact, we're at the Churchill. The Churchill, to give you an idea, is an establishment that opened up about 2 years ago. It's cool. It's got several bars, several restaurants, and a couple retail as well. 10 different vendors, local vendors, are in here. And they, as a group, decided that they were not prepared to open yet at this point. You know, I was talking with one of the founders here, Kel Duncan, and he was telling me that they've already taken their seating capacity from about 550 to 140 for when they do. But at the same time, with those numbers that you saw last week, they said that they just don't feel quite comfortable as an organization, as a company, to open up to customers right now until there's a little bit better understanding of where this is heading from here.
didn't feel, one, we wanted to be responsible in terms of taking care of our staff and taking care of the people that are going to come here. We do feel where we are going to be uniquely suited once things do open to do a good job of creating space for people. But it did feel like trying to get open for today or even by Friday seemed pretty rushed and might not be possible.
And so, Allison, as you just heard Kel outline there, while this order allows these establishments to open up, it's not like you're seeing an onslaught of, during the lunch hour or of nightlife here in the state. There are still these restaurants that take the health of their own customers very seriously.
Vaughn, what are the restaurant owners then telling you, the ones who decided that they do want to reopen? What have they told you about what this new normal is like for their business? I mean, it's just got to be so different than anything they were used to before.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and you've got to be fair to the folks that have decided to open. I was over with Lauren Cole, the owner of People Pizza Pub here earlier today, just about a mile down the road. They chose to open today. To put into context, it was 8 p.m. on March 17th when these businesses were ordered to shut down their dine-in services. And I was there as they were putting up the chairs and literally turning off the lights that night. And it was tough because for the next 2 months, Lauren outlines is, look, we're trying to not only build a local establishment, a local business here, but we also have employees. We also have workers. We need to open. We need to bring in money. Hear from Lauren upon her decision to open today.
We're down probably about 75%. Takeout was always, especially pizza. It is a decent chunk of our sales, but dine-in is huge. You can't survive off of just takeout.
Allison, you heard from Lauren just how critical in-dining is to her business. And at the same time, she said that she and her workers are going to do everything in their power to keep their customers safe. She said, we will be sanitizing every table, every chair after every guest comes and goes, that they take this seriously as well. And it is their social responsibility to keep their customers safe while keeping their business going.
Vaughn, it's obvious, whatever they're deciding to stay closed or to open, that these restaurant and business owners are taking that decision very seriously. Vaughn, always great to see you. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, my friend.
Kids are at risk of a rare condition believed to be related to COVID-19. Several states across the country are reporting cases while doctors are trying to understand what this mysterious illness is. NBC correspondent Kristen Dahlgren reports.
This morning, a search for answers as 38 kids in New York City are now confirmed to have the mysterious illness called pediatric multisystem inflammatory syndrome.
This is every parent's nightmare. No one knew about it. Nobody was watching for it.
Statewide, there are now at least 85 cases. On Sunday, New York's governor announcing the state is investigating 2 more deaths after 3 children were already confirmed to have died from the rare sickness believed to be related to COVID-19. The syndrome causes life-threatening inflammation in the body and organs, with potentially serious effects on the heart. NBC News finding cases of the illness in 9 states and Washington, D.C.
The fact that it is affecting children is upsetting.
13-year-old Anthony Lawson is now in the ICU at Seattle Children's Hospital. About a week ago, he started showing signs of what his mom, Teresa, thought were allergies, itchy eyes, fever, and a headache. But within a few days, those symptoms took a dangerous turn.
Once we got to Children's Hospital, we met him in the cardiac ICU, where we were told that it appeared that he was in the middle of heart failure. They ended up taking a blood test and were able to discover that blood test came back positive for the COVID-19 antibodies.
Doctors now alerting the public to a range of symptoms, including fever, rashes, abdominal and chest pain, change in skin color, and rapid heart rate, with symptoms often mirroring more commonly known inflammatory illnesses like Kawasaki disease and toxic shock syndrome.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.